My name's Guy Kestevan. I've been a professional mountain bike and kit tester for nearly 25 years, and today this is the Tech Talk round on Santa Cruz's brand new Bullit long travel e-bike. So, apologise for the less than optimum light conditions. I'm running out of time to get this done before the embargo tomorrow. So let's run through the details quickly. First up, carbon CC frame, full carbon frame, front and rear. All the Bullit models, even down to the basic R, get the same frame. The basic bike gets a Shimano E7000 motor though, whereas all the other bikes get the latest Shimano EP8. So 300 grams lighter, much smaller, 36% less drag, and more power, up to 85 Newton meters now. So right up there in terms of torque and power delivery. Really smooth delivery, really quiet, and so far it's been running sweet as all the time I've been testing this bike. And unlike the Heckler, which gets a 500 watt hour battery, this is getting the full size 630 watt hour battery embedded in this massive down tube. But it's just an easy Allen key release of the whole battery if you want to take it out, or you can just charge it in situ via this port here, and that's what I've been doing, and it's no problem. It's a nice weatherproof system, clicks into place there. But you can see it's such a neat little motor unit here. And also, while we're around here, you can see the Vpp suspension. So Santa Cruz have been using the Vpp suspension for, well, all of this century, so a long old time now, but they've recently reconfigured it, started on the V10, and now it's pretty much all the way through their range apart from the Blur. You're now getting the shock being driven by this lower linkage here, and then the upper linkage is swinging from the top tube. So 170 mil of travel on this bike. Super deluxe ultimate piggyback shock on all the bikes, comes with standard with air, but you can also ask for this X01 reserve version with a coil shock on there if you want. But to be honest, that air has been working brilliantly for me, so probably more a vanity thing than anything else. But you know, all the in terms of kinematic, the leverage ratios and everything like that, spring rate, that's all configured to work really well with the coil as well. And while we're here, it's typical Santa Cruz detailing. You've got these lifetime warranty pivot bearings. You've got a little grease injection port in there, so you can flush fresh lube through. And it's, you know, the whole frame is lifetime warranted as well. I mean, super stiff premium carbon with these, you know, these really nice little gusset sort of inserts molded into the bikes now. I mean, obviously massive down tube on here, and neat little bullet hole, that's not meant to be a pun, but neat little bullet hole cable entry, and it's fully plumbed all the way through, so your cables just slide in if you need to service them. And then you've got big old rubber rattle guards for the chain, and on the swing arm as well you've got this E13 bash guard as standard, and a big plastic sump guard on the front there to protect the bottom end of the frame and the motor. And then on the back here you've got a rear guard sitting over the shock there, and as you can see, got that massive bearing on the back end to keep things as supple as possible in terms of shock response. But in the big news in terms of shock response is the fact that this bike is mixed wheel size, MX as Santa Cruz call it. They are not using the other word that rhymes with Bullit. So you've got a 27.5 reserve DH wheel on the back with this Minion DHR, 27.5 by 2.4, 3C Max Terra double down carcass on the back. And then up front you've got the mighty 29 Assegai 29 by 2.5, 3C Max Grip, so super grippy tyre. Again, DD carcass, and that's sitting on reserve 30 rims. I mean, again, like the frame, these are both lifetime warranted wheels. You can see, you know, it's Santa Cruz's own proprietary design with these little bulges supporting the spokes. You've got DT Swiss spokes and DT Swiss 350 hubs in the center, so a super solid wheel set underlining what is an absolutely monolithically strong and stable feeling bike in terms of that upfront accuracy and tracking. I mean, obviously there is a live ride review of this where I get super out of my depth in Warncliffe, and the bike basically saves me all day long. So make sure you watch that for riding impressions. But in terms of geometry, 64-degree head angle and 77 degrees or thereabouts on all the frame sizes. Reach on this XL is 495, on a large it's 475, but seat tubes are kept really, really short in terms of effective length. So even this XL only has a 460, so I've still got some collar showing, even the 170mm Fox transfer dropper post in there. And on the large it's only 430mm. Back end again is kept pretty tight, 449, which is really, really short for an e-bike, especially one with 170mm of travel, thanks to that smaller rear wheel. And it also means you've got more butt clearance, you know, you've got more tyre clearance, everything makes, and because it's a lighter rear wheel, shock response is even faster as well. So that is very much the playful end of the bike. Then you've got this monster super stiff tracking front end, graced with, on this 10.5 grand build, with a Fox 38 full factory fork. But even on the basic builds, you still get a Zeb in there. You still get a Zeb in there, so they are not skimping on fork quality in any way. You know, you're not going to suddenly find yourself with just a noodly piece of cut price suspension on the front of your Bullit, whatever price you can afford. The other thing I was going to talk about in terms of geometry, Santa Cruz list of 3 8 bottom bracket out, which I was a little concerned about, as that would put it pretty high. Thankfully, what it actually this actually measures much nearer 339, so you know, not super slammed like some bikes, but then it gets rid of any crank clearance worries. So, you know, that's all as good as far as I'm concerned. And in terms of the rest of the spec, like I say, Fox transfer dropper post, WTB saddle, you've got room for a bottle cage in the conventional position there, and then you come up to the bars, which are the Santa Cruz e-bike specific bars, which have this neat little, can't really see it without taking the grip off, but if you slide the grip off, you can see there's a little groove and an insert point for the cabling there. So you've got the you just switch that on, there we go. You've got your really neat Shimano display there. They haven't actually changed that for this motor, and as far as I'm concerned, that's a good thing. Still tells you everything you need to know. And then you've got this little up and down power clicker on there to work you through the different modes. But it's a lot more manageable through the e-tube tuning app, and also the walk mode on this motor is a hell of a lot better than the old one. Was pretty much useless, but this one properly works. And then you've got code RSC brakes with 200mm rotors front and rear, so a ton of stopping power, lovely touchy-feely brakes those. Then you've got Bergtech stem as standard for a bit of, you know, hardcore UK credibility. But to be honest, this bike doesn't need any, you know, stem enhancements for its credibility. I mean, look at the size of those linkages on there. This thing is an absolute beast, which is why when you put it on the scales, I got a bit of a shock. It's only 22.2 kilos without pedals, and it's extra large. It's obviously, you know, it ain't light, but for a 170mm travel bike with the 38 on the front, that is impressively light, my friend, and it really corresponds to increased agility, responsiveness, and just kind of easier just managing it, just wheeling it about the house, getting into vans, that kind of thing. It really makes a difference being a lightweight bike like this, and it's just, together with the lifetime warranty, strength and the stiffness, is a real advantage of going for this carbon frame if you can afford it. Although obviously, you know, they have just introduced the Heckler MX, which is the 140mm travel bike, which takes weight down to around 20 kilos if 22 kilos is still heavier for you. But you know, there's trade-offs in terms of suspension travel and the equipment you get on it, because this is still a full-on gravity equipped machine. So that's the quick tech talk around. I want to just get a quick spin in before the light completely goes, so apologies for rushing through that one, but thanks very much to Santa Cruz for giving me the bike to test before the embargo. Thanks very much to my Patreon supporters for supporting the channel. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider joining them for a small monthly pledge, and that gets you extended, early and behind the scenes edits, as well as kind of a higher level of communication with me if you want my wisdom and technical advice, buying advice, whatever, that comes from nearly 25 years doing this full time. But make sure you watch the live ride review, please subscribe, please click for notifications, and give it a thumbs up as well, because that really helps the algorithms and helps get the video shared by YouTube, etc. But for now, I've been Guy Kestevan on Guykest TV, talking about the phenomenal, gravity crushing, but remarkably versatile, responsive, and above all, just infectiously playful Santa Cruz Bullit X01 Reserve.